Let me be straight with you right now, because I know exactly what you're thinking the moment you clicked on this video. You're thinking, here we go again. Another doctor on the internet, another take these 3 things and your problems disappear promise. I get it. You've heard it before. Maybe you've even tried some of it before. And maybe it didn't do a whole lot. So before I say anything else, let me earn your trust first. My name is Dr. Chloe Bennett. I've been practicing medicine for over 25 years, specializing specifically in men's health, hormone optimization, and vitality after 50. I'm not here to sell you a magic pill. I'm not here to make unrealistic promises. What I am here to do is share with you the same conversation I've had thousands of times with real men sitting across from me in my office. Men who came in exhausted, frustrated, and honestly a little defeated. And men who walked out with a real science-backed plan that actually worked. That's what today's video is, a real conversation. So I'm asking you to give me a few minutes because what I'm about to share could genuinely change how you feel every single day. Now, let's talk about what's actually going on in your body and why you're probably feeling the way you're feeling right now. By the time you hit your 50s, your body has been running hard for decades. Think of it like a truck that's put on 200,000 miles. The engine is still good, the frame is still solid, but some things need attention, fluids, maintenance, the right fuel. Testosterone naturally starts to decline. Your gut doesn't absorb nutrients the way it used to. Circulation slows down. Inflammation builds up quietly in the background. Now, most doctors, and I say this as someone who's been in this profession for a long time, most doctors will look at a 60-year-old man, run some numbers, say everything's within normal range, and send him home. They'll chalk it up to aging. They might hand you a prescription for something, or they'll just tell you to accept it. But here's what they miss. And this is the part I want you to really hear. A huge percentage of what men over 50 experience, the fatigue that doesn't go away no matter how much you sleep, the brain fog, the low drive, the performance issues in the bedroom, a huge percentage of that is not just aging. It's deficiency. It's your body running low on specific nutrients it absolutely needs to function the way it was designed to. And here's the thing about deficiencies. They're fixable. I've seen it happen in my own practice more times than I can count. Men in their 60s, their 70s, who'd been dragging themselves through life for years, thinking this was just their new normal. They optimized 3 specific nutrients, and within weeks, they're calling my office to tell me they feel like themselves again. Real energy, real mental clarity, real confidence. Not a supplement commercial version of it, the actual thing. So today I'm walking you through those 3 nutrients. I'm going to tell you what they do, why you're almost certainly running low, how much you actually need, and the best way to get them into your system. And at the end, I'm giving you a practical action plan, not a vague talk to your doctor someday kind of plan, but a real step-by-step that you can start this week. And I do want to pause right here and say, if you're someone who's been skeptical of this kind of content before, good. Healthy skepticism is smart. I'm going to give you the research. Real studies, real numbers. You can look them all up yourself. That's how I operate after 25 years. I don't ask anyone to take my word for it. I show you the data and let you decide. All right, let's get into it. The first vitamin is D3, and I call it the foundation vitamin for men, not because it's the most exciting, but because without it, nothing else works right. Most people, when they hear vitamin D, they think bones. They think calcium absorption, maybe osteoporosis prevention. And yes, it does all of that. But for men over 50, vitamin D3 is doing something far more important, something most men have no idea about. Vitamin D3 directly influences testosterone production. Let me say that again, because I want it to land. Vitamin D3 directly influences how much testosterone your body produces. There are vitamin D receptors in the Leydig cells in your testes, the actual cells responsible for making testosterone. When those receptors aren't getting enough D3, testosterone production drops. Simple as that. And the research backs this up hard. Multiple large-scale studies have shown that men with healthy, optimized vitamin D levels have testosterone levels that are anywhere from 25 to 30% higher than men who are deficient. 25 to 30%. That is not a minor difference. That is the difference between feeling sharp and strong and motivated versus feeling like a flat tire. But here's what makes this so frustrating. Studies consistently show that over 80% of men over the age of 60 are deficient in vitamin D. Over 80%. That means if you're watching this right now, statistically speaking, there is a very good chance your levels are too low. Why? 3 reasons. First, as you age, your skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. The conversion process just slows down. That's biology. Second, most people over 50, especially if you're retired or working from home, are spending significantly more time indoors than they were 20 or 30 years ago. Third, and this is the one that surprises people, if you live anywhere north of roughly Atlanta, Georgia, you are not getting meaningful vitamin D from sunlight for about 5 to 6 months out of the year. The angle of the sun in winter in places like Chicago, New York, Seattle, or pretty much the entire Midwest and Northeast is simply not strong enough to trigger vitamin D synthesis in your skin, even on sunny days. So if you're in one of those northern states, and a lot of you are, this one hits especially hard. Now, beyond testosterone, here's something else vitamin D3 does that men over 50 need to pay close attention to. It protects and supports your vascular system, your blood vessels, and healthy blood vessels mean healthy blood flow everywhere. One large study following over 3,000 men found that those with optimized vitamin D levels had significantly better erectile function compared to men who were deficient. Not marginally better, significantly better. Because the same mechanism that makes vitamin D good for heart health, keeping your blood vessels healthy, reducing inflammation, supporting nitric oxide production, that same mechanism affects circulation throughout your entire body. So what do you do about it? Step 1, get tested. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test. It's a simple blood draw. It's usually covered by insurance. And you can ask for it at your next annual physical. Don't wait for your doctor to suggest it. Ask for it specifically. Step 2, know what you're looking at. There's a big difference between normal and optimal. Most labs flag anything above 20 nanograms per milliliter as normal. But research consistently shows that for men's health, testosterone, energy, vascular function, you want to be between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. That's the sweet spot. If you're sitting at 22, you're technically not deficient by lab standards, but your body's running on fumes. Step 3, supplement smart. For most men over 50, that means 2,000 to 4,000 IU of D3 daily. Now here's a practical detail a lot of people miss. Vitamin D3 is fat soluble, which means your body absorbs it dramatically better when you take it with a meal that contains some fat. Eggs, nuts, avocado, whole milk, anything with fat will meaningfully improve your absorption. Don't just pop it with a glass of water and call it done. Also, and this is something I always mention to my patients, pair your D3 with vitamin K2. K2 helps direct the calcium that vitamin D absorbs into your bones and arteries where it belongs, rather than letting it deposit in the wrong places. Look for a D3/K2 combination supplement. That's the smartest way to take it. All right. Moving on to vitamin number 2, B12. I've been practicing medicine for 25 years, and if I had to name the single most underestimated deficiency in men over 50, it would be B12. Hands down, here's the analogy I use with my patients. Think of B12 as your spark plug. You can have a full tank of gas, you can eat well, sleep reasonably well, take other supplements, but without B12, your body cannot convert that fuel into actual energy. The ignition just doesn't fire. You end up exhausted and you don't understand why because you're doing everything right. Now here's the specific problem for older men, and this is critical. After the age of 50, your stomach naturally produces less hydrochloric acid. Stomach acid is what frees B12 from the proteins in food. Without it, you can be eating steak 3 times a week and eggs, fish, all the B12-rich foods, and your gut literally cannot extract it properly. You eat it, but your body can't access it. This means B12 deficiency is not just about diet. You can have a perfect diet and still be seriously low in B12 if your gut isn't absorbing it. What does low B12 actually feel like? Fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. That deep bone-level tiredness that's there when you wake up and still there when you go to bed. Brain fog. Forgetting words mid-sentence, mood swings, irritability that comes out of nowhere, reduced nerve sensitivity, and yes, reduced interest and performance in the bedroom. One study found that men with B12 deficiency were 3 times more likely to experience erectile difficulties. 3 times. Because B12 is essential for red blood cell production, for oxygen transport through your body, and critically, for nerve function. When your nerves aren't firing efficiently and your tissues aren't getting adequate oxygen, everything downstream suffers, including sexual function. And look, I want to be direct with you here, because I know a lot of men watching this are dealing with this issue, but haven't felt comfortable talking about it with anyone. This is real, it's common. And a significant portion of the time, it has a physiological cause that is correctable. You are not broken. Your body may just be running low on what it needs. So here's the game plan for B12. For most men over 60, I recommend between 500 and 1,000 micrograms daily, but the form matters enormously. And this is where a lot of cheap supplements fail people. Look for methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin. These are the active bioavailable forms of B12. Your body uses them directly without having to convert them. Avoid cyanocobalamin. That's the synthetic form you'll find in a lot of bargain brand vitamins. It's harder for your body to process, especially as you age. And here's my biggest practical tip for B12. Consider a sublingual supplement. That's a lozenge or liquid you let dissolve under your tongue. The tissue under your tongue has a rich blood supply, and B12 absorbs directly into your bloodstream through it, completely bypassing the digestive system and the absorption problems we just talked about. For men over 60 with reduced stomach acid, sublingual B12 is significantly more effective than a swallowed pill. Some men also benefit from B12 injections, which your doctor can administer. If your levels are severely depleted, injections can restore them much faster than oral supplements. Talk to your doctor about whether that's appropriate for your situation. Now, vitamin number 3, C. I know what you're thinking. Vitamin C. That's what you take when you've got a cold coming on. That's orange juice and Emergen-C. What does that have to do with energy and performance after 50? A lot more than you'd think. And I mean that. Let me reframe how you think about vitamin C entirely. Vitamin C is one of the most powerful tools your body has for maintaining vascular health. It's essential for collagen synthesis, and collagen is literally the structural protein that keeps your blood vessels strong, elastic, and flexible. As you age, collagen production slows. Vessels get stiffer. Circulation becomes less efficient. Vitamin C directly counters that process. But here's the one that really matters for men's vitality specifically. Vitamin C is a critical cofactor in the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the naturally occurring compound in your body that causes blood vessels to relax and dilate, to open up and allow blood to flow freely. Without adequate nitric oxide, circulation suffers throughout your entire body. This is, incidentally, the same mechanism that certain well-known pharmaceutical drugs work on. Vitamin C helps support the natural version of that process. No prescription required. There's also the cortisol angle, which doesn't get talked about enough. Your adrenal glands, the glands that produce your stress hormones, have the highest concentration of vitamin C of any tissue in your body. When you're chronically stressed, your adrenal glands burn through vitamin C rapidly, producing cortisol. And chronic elevated cortisol is one of the most potent testosterone suppressors there is. High cortisol, low testosterone. It's almost a direct trade-off. By making sure you have adequate vitamin C, you're giving your adrenal glands what they need, helping to keep cortisol in check, and protecting your testosterone from being suppressed by chronic stress. For men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who are dealing with the very real stresses of this stage of life, health concerns, financial pressure, family responsibilities, this matters. One study specifically looking at men over 60 found that supplementing with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily for 8 weeks produced significant improvements, not just in overall energy markers, but in erectile function as well. 8 weeks. That's not a long-time investment for those kinds of results. Here's how to use vitamin C effectively. Aim for 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily, but split it into 2 doses, morning and evening. Vitamin C is water-soluble, which means your body can't store it. It excretes whatever it doesn't use right away. So one big dose is far less effective than two smaller doses spread throughout the day. Food sources are excellent. Bell peppers actually have more vitamin C per gram than oranges, which surprises most people. Berries, kiwi, broccoli, citrus fruits. But getting therapeutic levels through diet alone is difficult. For most men looking to optimize, you'll want a supplement. When you're shopping for one, look for vitamin C with bioflavonoids. Bioflavonoids are naturally occurring plant compounds that enhance vitamin C absorption and bring their own antioxidant benefits. They're found naturally alongside vitamin C in whole food sources, and the best supplements will replicate that combination. Now, let me bring this all together into a real practical action plan. Because information without action is just entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to actually help you. Step 1. Get your levels tested. Don't guess. This is the part I feel most strongly about after 25 years in practice. I cannot tell you how many men have come into my office certain they were fine, no obvious symptoms, healthy diet, exercising regularly, and their vitamin D was critically low and their B12 was barely functional. And I also can't tell you how many men came in convinced they were severely deficient, and their levels were actually fine, and the issue was something else entirely. You cannot know without testing. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test and a vitamin B12 serum test at your next appointment. Request them by name. It's usually a simple add-on to a standard blood panel. Step 2. Start one at a time. I know when people hear about something that might help, the instinct is to go all in immediately. Order everything tonight, start everything tomorrow. I've seen this pattern 1,000 times. The problem is that when you stack 5 new supplements at once and you start feeling better or worse, you have no idea which one made the difference. Start with D3, give it 2 weeks, then add B12, give that another 2 weeks, then bring in vitamin C. This methodical approach also means if you have any reaction, which is very rare but possible, you can identify the cause immediately. Step 3. Build it into your existing routine. The single biggest reason people fail at supplementation is not that it doesn't work. It's that they forget to take it consistently. Attach your vitamins to something you already do every single morning without fail. Most people have a cup of coffee. Most people brush their teeth. Put your supplements right next to whatever that anchor habit is. Consistency is everything. A great supplement taken sporadically is far less effective than a good supplement taken every single day. Step 4. Know what timeline to expect. Some men, especially those with severely depleted B12, feel a difference within days. More energy, clearer thinking, better mood. It can happen that fast when your deficiency was significant. For D3 and the downstream effects on testosterone, circulation, and performance, give it 4 to 6 weeks of consistent use before you evaluate. Physiological changes take time to accumulate. Don't quit at week 2. Step 5. Follow up with your doctor. At the 3-month mark, get your levels retested. You want to know whether your supplementation is actually moving your numbers into that optimal range or whether you need to adjust your dose. For some men, 2,000 IU of D3 is sufficient. For others, especially larger men or those who are severely depleted, 4,000 or even 5,000 IU under medical supervision may be appropriate. You need data, not guesswork. Now, I want to say something that I think is important, and I want to say it sincerely. I understand that there's a lot of skepticism out there about health content online. I understand why. There is a lot of bad content out there. There are people making promises they can't back up, selling things they shouldn't be selling, and treating vulnerable people as a market rather than as human beings who deserve real help. I've seen what that skepticism does. It makes men distrust everything, including the information that could genuinely help them. So let me be clear about what I am and what I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that D3, B12, and vitamin C will fix everything. I'm not telling you these 3 vitamins will replace a conversation with your own physician, or that they're a substitute for addressing other underlying health conditions. If you have serious cardiovascular disease, diabetes, severe hormonal imbalances, or significant psychological factors affecting your quality of life, those need professional, individualized attention. What I'm telling you is this. Deficiencies in these 3 nutrients are extremely common in men over 50. They are well documented in the medical literature. They have real and measurable effects on energy, cognitive function, mood, and yes, sexual performance. And correcting them is safe, relatively inexpensive, and often profoundly impactful. In 25 years of practice, one of the things that has moved me most is watching a man who had written himself off, who decided that feeling tired and flat and diminished was just what getting older meant, get his labs back, optimize his nutrition, and rediscover what it feels like to actually feel good, to wake up with energy, to think clearly, to feel like a man who still has something to bring. That's not an infomercial moment. That's what happens when your body gets what it needs. You don't have to accept fatigue as your identity. You don't have to accept brain fog as your baseline. You don't have to accept a diminished version of yourself as the deal you made with aging. None of those things are inevitable. Many of them are correctable. And it starts with knowing where you stand. Get tested. Start smart. Be consistent. Give it time. Check back in with your doctor. That's the whole plan. It's not complicated. It doesn't require expensive programs or miracle products. It requires information, consistency, and the decision to invest in yourself. I'm Dr. Chloe Bennett, and I've spent 25 years doing this work because I believe that every person, regardless of age, deserves to feel strong, clear, and fully alive. Not a lesser version, not a managed version, the real version. If this video was helpful to you, please hit the thumbs up. It genuinely helps more men find this content when they need it most. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. We've got a lot of important topics ahead, including a deep dive into testosterone optimization, sleep and hormone recovery, and what the research actually says about libido after 65. And drop a comment. I want to hear from you. Tell me where you're watching from. What's been your biggest health challenge lately, or what topic you want me to cover next? I read the comments, I take them seriously, and your questions shape what we cover on this channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, because you absolutely still can.